I love war games, but I'm also still a kid at heart. Recently, I was replaying the Armymen video games by 3DO, a series where you play as plastic toy soldiers. I played these all the time as a kid with my brother, but there hasn't been a new entry in over a decade, so I went online trying to find similar games. That's when I remembered Battalion Wars, which is the 3D real-time tactics spin-off of Advance Wars by Nintendo. Then I started looking online for similar games to that series, and I realized a lot of other people were doing the same thing. So it got me thinking, what other child-friendly war games are even out there? But first, if you're new to the channel, I'll be doing a lot more gaming content like this and others, so subscribe and hit that notification bell. Now, back to the video. To preface, most of these games actually have a T rating, but that largely comes from the fact that these games incorporate elements of war. It's kind of a bullet you can't dodge. But otherwise, they've all been designed in such a way to appeal to a younger audience, or to those of us who liked adult things kidified. This is by no means a comprehensive list of every game out there, but I'll put other ones I found and honorable mentions in the description. This topic is about games that focus on war, so something like Shadow the Hedgehog wouldn't count, since it's a Sonic game with warring factions as a backdrop, not war as the main focus. I'll start with the most obvious one, Armymen. This series has you play as the Green Nation in the timeless conflict of green versus tan plastic toy army soldiers. Instead of gore, there is plastic body horror, with the soldiers being melted. The series got a ton of games in different genres, spanning third-person shooters, real-time strategy, and more, with 23 games being released in the span of 12 years. Probably the most popular was the Sarge's Heroes sub-series. I actually did a video on Sarge's War, which you can check out. I can thank my brother for introducing me to most of the army-themed games I know. Fun fact, the Armymen game series was actually banned for sale in many European countries because military toys altogether were banned. Next up is Nintendo Wars, sometimes referred to as Famicom Wars, but better known as Advance Wars. It is a turn-based tactics game series, but specifically, Battalion Wars is its 3D spin-off series for the GameCube and Wii. As the name implies, you command a battalion fighting for the western frontier against the tundran territories, essentially the cartoon version of what the Cold War could have become. You control various troops and vehicles, which you control from a third-person and top-down perspective. The proportions of the characters are cartoony and exaggerated, and instead of blood, stars pop out of the enemies when you shoot them. Every major character is also essentially a quirky stereotype. My two childhood friends introduced me to a lot of games, but Metal Arms: Glitch in the System was developed by Swing and 8 Studios, and the best way I can describe it is like Halo meets Ratchet and Clank. It's got the music, gadgets, and humor of Ratchet and Clank, but the gritty, military attitude of Halo, and general action figure designs and proportions. You fight on the side of the Droid Rebellion against the Millbots. This game is balls to the wall hard at times, but it's super fun and creative. You can hijack other robots, blow off enemy robots' limbs, find hidden microchips to unlock multiplayer maps, and so much more. Worms is a turn-based tactical artillery game series by Team 17, originally prototyped as a Lemmings artillery game for the Commodore Amiga all the way back in 1995. God, I feel old. This game has sported many themes, but since its inception, it has consistently been about warfare. Shotguns, bazookas, grenades, snipers, all sorts of military weapons. Some of the environments even mimic real-world events like D-Day. Another childhood friend actually introduced me to Worms 4, Mayhem, but the whole series is pretty consistent and readily available to buy, download, and play. Seek and Destroy is the first game I found when I myself tried looking up kid-friendly army games. It is a tank vehicular combat game set during a conflict of empires invading nations. The kiddie part of the game comes in the form of cartoony tanks of different colors that talk to each other. It's got this weird blend of realistic presentation and like a JRPG town. It looks fun, and there's a bunch of different tanks and upgrades for you to customize. It's also cheap as heck on the PS2. And finally, we have Valkyria Chronicles. I've seen this game in passing many times over the years, but never had a chance to play it myself. It is a Japanese, military-themed tactical role-playing game that takes place in Europe during a fictional war circa World War II. That sounds pretty heavy, but it has a storybook anime art style and uses comic book splats and impacts and onomatopoeias. Also, the enemies ragdoll when you kill them. Most of these titles hover around the 6th generation, but I'm pretty sure there are other titles out there that fit this description. It's just a matter of finding them and fitting it accurately. If you know of any other child-friendly war games, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching the video. I'll be doing a lot more gaming content like this and others, so like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I'll see you next time.